Hello everybody, how's it going today? Glowplasma231 here, back in today to do the May and June of 2024 manga haul. Normally I have a title for these things like, oh, this is the spring manga haul, or the fall manga haul, or the summer manga haul, or the winter manga haul. But there's an inherent problem with that philosophy, because if I do these every 2 months, that means there are 6 different sections, and there are only 4 seasons. So the thing I probably should do is do these once every 3 months. That way I can easily say, alright, this is the winter season, spring season, summer, and fall season. But I refuse to do that. I'm going to do these every 2 months. And this is the one manga haul right here I don't quite have a name for yet. So I still have to come up with the name for this episode, which should be on whatever you're watching this on, which is YouTube, of course. And that title will be there somewhere, but I do not have that made yet. And we're going to be going into this manga haul all remembering this fact very deeply today because, well, that is a very important fact for what we're about to do. Because today I've got 20-something manga volumes to go through and talk about, to give my thoughts on and pretty much show, oh, hey, I collect manga, and these are all the mangas I bought this month. Is mangas the correct keyword? I'm honestly not so sure. But as per normal, whenever we do these, I have books for most of the 4 various big publishers, and then a few other weirder books, but we'll get all of those as we get into it. So, of course, I'll have timestamps down below for all of the publishers I'm talking about. Of course, we're going in the Viz order to the Kodansha, to 7 Seas, to Yin Press, and then everything else at the very end. Like I said, they'll have timestamps. So if you want to see all of the Kodansha books, which honestly, Kodansha is probably my favorite section this month, well, go and check that out down in the description down below or in the video chapters or whatever. But honestly, I think this was a pretty good month for me collecting manga. And really, I don't see why any other reason why we just don't go and hop into it. So, of course, we're going to be starting out with the Shonen Jump line of Viz, where we have Shonen Volume 4, Blue Box Volume 4, and Kaiju number 8, Volume 9. So, just to get out of the way, let's talk about Blue Box Volume 4. As you could tell, this is the 4th volume of Blue Box. And Blue Box is a series that I read it every week in Shonen Jump, so I do definitely enjoy the series. And it's one of those that, yeah, I want to collect it, but I don't feel like I need to collect every volume as soon as it comes out. And that's just, I don't know, it's just a bit of a philosophy I have with some series. Like, I don't need the new volume right here, right now. And Blue Box is a sort of fun, slow burn. Whenever I pick up a volume, go through and read it. And Blue Box is very interesting to me in the fact that it is such a different series early on than it is now. I mean, if you were reading this series in Shonen Jump and am caught up with it in like the beginning of July of 2024, then you know how different this series is than when it first began. And it's just rereading this volume 4 here, it's got so many small nuances that aren't really in the series anymore, but at the same time, it still has that level of comedy and humor, which are pretty much the exact same things, that really make Blue Box a very fun series to continue on reading. And it also has a lot of callbacks to things that happened recently. I don't know. It's just always fun to see how that works. So yeah, that's Blue Box Volume 4. Not really a whole lot to say about it, but yeah, I picked up Blue Box Volume 4 this month. I sort of needed to fill out an order, so I just sort of picked it up. Next, let's talk about Shonen Volume 4. If you've watched any of these manga hauls where I have had a volume of Shonen, you probably know what I say about the series. It is just a great, fun read. It's a comedy series. The comedy is always very funny. And I mean, if you have a dry comedy manga, then you're doing something wrong. But this volume really gets into more of the deeper or darker stuff of Shonen, as we get a main flashback into sort of the history of one of the most probably the most influential character to our main trio in there, not the main trio, the main duo in the series. But yeah, Shonen is just always a fun one, and it is really fun to think about how much content there's packed into these volumes. And like, whenever I think about Shonen, I'm like, this isn't just where it was a year into publication, because each of these volumes have 4 chapters in them, and this starts off a year of publications for the series, and it's crazy to think that so much happened in 1 year. But That's Shoha Shonen. I always recommend you to go check out Shoha Shonen. Really great, really funny, and just a great, enjoyable time all around. I don't think you can regret going with Shoha Shonen yourself. And then Kaiju number 8. This is volume 9. I actually don't have volume 8 yet. I just sort of like the cover here of volume 9 a lot, so I said, before I pick up volume 8, let me pick up volume 9, because I read Kaiju number 8 weekly or bi-weekly whenever it decides to come out, and of course I'm pretty sure everybody knows about Kaiju 8 now because of the anime adaptation, which had not started by the time I last did one of these manga hauls, so it's a bit of a fun thing to think about. But yeah, Kaiju number 8 anime's out. It's being really big, really massive, and, well, I'm surprised these books aren't selling more, because a lot of people seem to like it. But yeah, this sort of starts off the next big arc of Kaiju number 8. I know Kaiju number 8 does sort of like its arcs and like, oh, here's the next chapter, and I think this volume starts off like chapter something or other, but let me actually check, because I'm a little bit interested in it. But this sort of is that same arc that we've been in for a while now, as, let's see. Maybe not. Whoop. Nope. Yeah, but this is sort of the start of like the sort of bigger war that's going on in Kai. I wouldn't call it a war, but sort of the bigger conflict that's going on, and it has been going on for a while. But yeah, it's a good one, Kaiju number 8. I can't really say anything against it. So yeah, that's these 3 volumes. It's not too much to say on them. The next 3 volumes are all in the same sort of numbering scheme, as we got volume 14, volume 15, and then another volume 15 of Undead Unluck, Chainsaw Man, and Mashle Magic and Muscles, respectively. So, sort of get across the elephant in the room here, it would be very cool if I had 15, 15, and 15, but Undead Unluck is volume 14 because I, honestly, same thing that I just did with Kaiju number 8 happened, to where volume 15 of Undead Unluck was available, and I like the cover of it better, so I went ahead and picked up that volume as a current volume, instead I'd get Undead Unluck 14 later, and that's sort of what I did. This is the second to last volume before the next big arc in Undead Unluck begins, and it's a fine volume, sort of wrapping up a bunch of these plot lines in one sort of volume to then expand on them in the next arc, sort of being as vague as I can there. But yeah, definitely a good volume. I mean, I still think Undead Unluck was a lot better in its early stages, and I feel like there are a few problems as the series gets later on, but still very good volume and very interesting conflicts going on with it. If we want to talk about a very conflicting story to a lot of people, here is Chainsaw Man volume 15, of course, with the falling devil on the cover of it, which is just a really creepy and interesting not only design but cover for a manga volume. And I like, even just look at that, like that shouldn't honestly be allowed in bookstores across the states. But yeah, this is Chainsaw Man volume 15, getting into the whole falling devil arc, and I actually have not looked at this one since I bought it, so before I just keep saying things, yeah, this includes almost the entirety of the falling devil conflict, but it's still just very interesting. And from what I remember about this volume of Chainsaw Man, it was good, but not really too much else to say about there. And of course, Mashle Magic and Muscles volume 15. At this point, we got 3 more volumes in a series, and I'm pretty sure this is when Mash finally wakes up and does his whole thing after the last few volumes literally just being one-on-one fights between the Mash's brothers and the rest of the cast. So it is very fun, and yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about these 3 either. Just more solid books in their lineup, so that's really all there is to say there. And then just next to Black Clover volume 34 and My Hero Academia volume number 38. Let's talk about Black Clover first. I'm not a big Black Clover collector, but this is whenever the series came back after the 3-month hiatus that Yuki Tabata took, like mid-2023, 2022, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was 2022 whenever he took that 3-month long hiatus. And this is a volume that Black Clover came back on. Well, actually, not quite. There was a little bit before this, but whatever. Volume 34. I also really like Ichika, and I figure any manga volumes I have, I may as well like the characters on them. Because let me just go grab the other Black Clover volumes I own real fast. Let me grab them off the shelf here. There we go. So, like I said, I just clicked a Black Clover of things that I like. So, I really liked the Magic Knight sort of fighting arc. So, that's why I have volume 13, 14, and 15 of the series, which are all sort of that arc. So, I got it if I ever want to read it. Book Clover volume 17, don't know why I have this one, but I really like, I think his name was Raya's design. So, I sort of just have it there. Pretty cool. And then I really like Noct, and then I also really like Noct. So, this is where Noct's big battle is during the whole devilish arc thing, and then this is the Spade Kingdom arc. That's what I was getting at. And then here's just I like Noct as a character, and I also like Chica as a character, so I got this one with Black Clover. It also begins the whole Land of the Sun arc, and I do really like that arc, so that's why I picked it up. And then My Hero Academia volume 38. Of course, if you could guess by the cover, this volume has stuff to do with Toga in it. I also really like here as the character in the corner, and on the spine we have, of course, Gentle Criminal, which being the role that he plays in this next part of My Hero Academia, or it's already happened by this point, but holding up the UA floating high in the sky, it is pretty just cool to note that, yeah, Gentle actually gets some recognition on the volume cover. I mean, of course, he couldn't get it during his old UA arcs, but pretty cool to see. But I also would be remiss to say if, at this point, My Hero Academia is ending very, very, very soon in 4 chapters by the release of this video. And this is really crazy to think about. My Hero is almost over. I think we have covers for volume 4. Actually, I'm going to look this up real quick. I think My Hero will end up having 42 volumes, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm now unplugging the computer to quickly check that. I think it'll have 42 volumes, if I'm not mistaken, but let me check. Alright, and we are back. I just did a little bit of research into My Hero volumes, and we have a confirmed cover for volume 40, and volume 40 is already out, and by the time My Hero ends, we're going to have enough chapters to do about 2 more volumes. So after this volume of My Hero, there are actually only going to be about 4 volumes, unless that number in my count is off. So we are actually closely approaching the end of this series, which is just really, really crazy to think about. But yeah, that's My Hero Academia volume 38. There's the back of it, and here's the back of Black Clover 34. And yeah, just 2 great volumes, a lot of great content inside them, and 2 I don't regret picking up at all. To pick up the pace here, the next 2 volumes I have are a bit too interesting, as I have Ultraman Volume 1 and Ultraman Volume 2. I was back up on a vacation earlier this month and was in the area of a half-price books, so I went in and they had these 2 books for sale, and I picked them up. I have actually not had time to read them yet, or I have had time, I just haven't read them yet. But definitely I know the impact that Ultraman has had on Japanese media, and of course it's like sort of the original Super Sentai, and honestly I don't know anything about Ultraman, so I'm going to be really interested to read these and see what they are. They do have a few condition issues, like I don't know if you can see that there in like the corner. Volume 1's in a lot more pristine condition here in Volume 2, but I'm definitely excited to see what's up with these, and also sort of just thinking like the corners, like this is the beginning of a new age, and you're begging for the truth, but now you've seen too much. It's just some really cool taglines, and yeah, this is Ultraman Volume 1, Ultraman Volume 2. I don't have anything else to say about these, though. And with that, it's actually time to move on to the Kodansha books this month. And honestly, the Kodansha pile is a very interesting one. We're going to start off with the regular size tankobons first. We have Fire Force Volume 23 and Go Go Loser Ranger Volume 10, also known as Ranger Reject or whatever else you're calling it. You guys probably know that I've done some episode reviews of Go Go Loser Ranger or Ranger Reject or Sentai Daishikaku on this channel, so you probably know I really enjoy this series, and this is Volume 10 here. If I'm not mistaken, this doesn't quite start off. Yeah, that's the next volume, but this sort of ends or resolves the big cliffhanger that happened last time in Volume 9. And of course, it doesn't quite start the next big arc yet, the 3-way battle arc, but it does do strides getting towards that to saying what's going on in this series. A very interesting series, and one that I really, really, really just do enjoy. So definitely go check out Go Go Loser Ranger. At the same point, you go check out Shoha Shoten. if there are 2 series, actually there's going to be 3 series I'm going to recommend for you to check out in this video, these are 2 of them right here. And the other volume is Fire Force Volume 23. So I don't know if you guys know this, if you are collecting Fire Force or whatever, but for the longest time, Volume 23, Kodansha had a very bad misprint of the series, to where on certain dialogue bubbles, there literally just wasn't dialogue in like half of them throughout the entire volume. It was just a really, really, really bad misprint that happened, and I don't know how Kodansha QA got it through. I mean, like, that should be quality assurance, if anything, and quality checks, but there were a lot of these out here, and I guess Kodansha finally did new printing, because I was at my local bookstore recently, and I was like, alright, well, they've got a Fire Force Volume 23, let me just check it, see if it's normal, and yeah, this volume has all of the text in it like it should, and so I finally picked up the last volume of Fire Force I needed, so I now have all 23 volumes of Fire Force, and I'm actually very happy about that, because that means I have the whole complete series, all 34 volumes, and then a Japanese supplemental book, which is pretty fun. But yeah, that's sort of the story behind Volume 23 here, and why I have 23 when I already, of course, have had the rest of the series. But yeah, Go-Go Loser Ranger, very good, and Fire Force 23, also very good. Next up then is going to be the Shangri-La Frontier of the month, as I got Volume 9, 10, and 11 of Shangri-La Frontier. My local bookstore I go to does not carry Shangri-La Frontier. They sold the first 3 volumes of the series, and ever since then there's been 1 copy of the 3 volumes sitting on that bookshelf, so I have not had an opportunity to pick up any of the other volumes until I go to the same bookstore, but it's like a 30-minute drive away from the other one that I don't really go to because it's in a really, really big mall in my area. So I don't particularly like to go there. I like to go to one in a small mall. But besides the point, that one stocks Shangri-La Frontier, and I really like Shangri-La Frontier. So I picked up these volumes last time I was over there. Of course, volumes 9, 10, and 11, of course, with the animal warlock lady. I think her name's like a man, or it's something animal. It's probably in the front of the book here, and I just can't think of what it is. But I know it's something animal related. I'm just having issues, but I'm going to figure this out real quick. Let's see. Yeah, Animalia, that's the name, if I could have remembered. Of course, Akane, and then Rust here on the other 2 covers. This sort of involves the whole pseudo-Lycagon the Night Slayer fight, which will actually be adapted in the next core of the anime. It'll probably stop off wherever this book sort of starts off, because this book starts off sort of the next big arc of Shangri-La Frontier after these 2. So these 2 will probably get adapted next season, and this one may get a little bit of an adaptation, but probably nowhere close to near. But yeah, I really do enjoy Shangri-La Frontier, and I was very excited to be able to come through and pick up these volumes. And yeah, only volume I have left to get is a Volume 7 to sort of have my complete set going forward, but I honestly can't find Volume 7 in any local bookstore, so that's a bit of a fun one. But after that, we have another book that I actually really want to talk about, which is The Fable. And this is pretty much a gangster hitman series, except with a little bit of a twist on it, as of course you see the bullet hole through the A there, which I think is a fascinating design choice. But yeah, this is an omnibus by Kodansha. Of course, it is a bigger trim size like Shangri-La Frontier compared to like a Fire Force or any regular tankobons. But yeah, I want to quickly talk about The Fable here, as I have heard about this series for a long time. Of course, whenever I went through and I read Tokyo Revengers, I of course heard a lot of people saying like, oh, hey, don't read this isn't like actual gangsters and all of that, which I honestly didn't read Tokyo Revengers for the gangsters. I read and watched it for more of the oh, that's a super interesting premise. I want to see how that plays out. But yeah, this book, I saw it in my local bookstore, and I'm going to be blunt with you. Me and my friend were there hanging out. I did not plan to buy anything. I'm going to be real with you. We saw this book, and we opened it up. And I'm actually going to open it up real quick to find the page that we first saw whenever we both opened up this volume of The Fable. And it was none other then I'm trying to stall for time here. If I can, yeah. It was none other than this page right here is what we opened up to. And me and him looked at that, had a great laugh, and I said, you know what? I want to try out the Fable, and so I did. And this was a really, really good, fun, and interesting read. Pretty much the premise of it is, hey, this guy here on the cover, and we'll get a better look of him right there, he is nicknamed the Fable, and he is like the best assassin ever. But he's done too many hit jobs recently, so his crime boss says like, hey, you Fable, you need to go and you need to take some time off of work and be a regular person living in Japan. And it's pretty much the shenanigans that him and his getaway driver, now dubbed his sister, what they get into, and going around and having fun. Alright, I am back. Sorry, I got a little bit interrupted there, but just continue on with what I was saying if I can remember quite where I was. Like I was saying, the elevator pitch of the Fable is that this guy right here, or also that guy right there, is known as the Fable. A great assassin, like Japan worldwide known, everybody knows him, and pretty much he killed too many people in the last fiscal year, so his crime or mafia boss pretty much tells him and his getaway driver, who is now dubbed sisters as they are now siblings, to go through and to live a normal life in the streets of Japan. And yeah, it's a bit of a comedy hitman sort of thing, and not in sort of the way that, like, Mission Yozakura family is, or any of like a Kill Bill, any of those other hitman comedy series. This is sort of in a different way, in that vein of there still are heavy stakes and a lot of things going on with, for instance, the main crime family that is harboring them in this new area where, of course, they don't know the Fable is, and of course you can see down here, no killing for 1 year. But yeah, this was a really fun volume to read. Of course, it was an omnibus, so you get more bang for your buck there. But it was just a really cool thing, and also, I'm not going to open up to this volume again, but the visuals are so realistic and gritty, it's almost, I can feel like I'm there and seeing these actions a lot more, and like, of course, like a Shangri-La Frontier is, where it's like, oh, it's sort of like a more video game aesthetic, or like a Fire Force is, and like like that's, of course, just like the anime style. It's really interesting, and honestly, if you have the chance, and of course, can get over the, $23, which honestly, for this build quality and the content that's in here, I would definitely say that would be worth it to definitely go and pick up. But I honestly do recommend this series. This is the art series I was talking about earlier. Like, hey, check this out. Also, just extremely clean spine, like the Fable and all of that, and just honestly amazing. Little parrot on the head there and the gun. It's just, there's so much that went right with me reading this book to where I am definitely going to be picking up the next few installments in the series. One of them that actually came out here in July, whenever, of course, the month this manga haul has, is this actually came out in last manga haul in April, or not April, in May, and no, yeah, April, if I can get my months right. And I never ended up picking it up there because I honestly didn't know anything about it and didn't want to buy it until I, of course, saw that one panel being the cover of chapter 10 there. But very enjoyable. I definitely recommend this book for everything it's worth. So if you get anything from this video, go check out the Fable. I'm just telling you to right now. I command it. And with that, we're going to move on to 7 Seas, where I just have one book that I honestly don't have anything to say about it. And that is Perigo of Blue Steel. This was another pickup from the half-price books I went to. And I have not had time or the want to read this one yet. But it does seem interesting. And yeah, I just don't have anything to say about this. I mean, reading the back, you can pause it there if you really don't know what the series is about like I do. But now, I also find it funny that this says it's a Loot Crate exclusive, which is just a fun thing to see. But yeah, I just don't really have anything to say about this one, and I'll be interested to read it in the future. And maybe if I do enjoy it, I can put some jots about it in the description or make a whole video about it. Who knows? But yeah, not a whole lot to say about Perigo of Blue Steel. After that, of course, is the Yin Press books, to where I've got a few this month. I've got 2 I can really talk about, and another 3 I have nothing to say on. But one of them I can talk about is, of course, Oshinoko Volume 6. Of course, a very interesting Oshinoko volume, with the fact that the cover has 2 characters on it. as we have, of course, the two major manga authors in the Oshinoko universe that, of course, we have seen. I mean, I'm pretty sure Oda exists in every Japan where manga is written in any sort of series, just because Oda's like the GOAT and everything. But yeah, yeah, our two big manga artists, and this is, of course, part of the 2.5D stage play arc, and building up to the next acts of the story as that goes on. But we sort of just get these two series, and of course, these are two of the most major characters, of course, with Akiko's work being adapted in the current plot. So she plays a really big role in it. And just a good volume of Oshinoko. Not really too much to say about it. Of course, this volume will be adapted in the next arc of the anime. Of course, Core 2, or Season 2, the first core of Season 2, or whatever it is. This will be this will be adapted, if I could speak. But yeah, that's Oshinoko. Not really too much else to say about it. Next up then is Solo Leveling Volume 2. Of course, I picked up Solo Leveling Volume 1 in the past, and I've also picked up Solo Leveling Volume 3. To be able to read Volume 3, I needed Volume 2, and this one I have not gotten terribly far in. As you see, my bookmark is actually right here. I've got about 70 pages into it, but that was about a month ago, so I do need to get back into reading it. But Solo Leveling, I got put onto it by the anime. Still find it a very interesting story and plan to read it some more as time goes on, but it's going to be one of those slow burns. I'm going to read it whenever I feel like it, and I mean, that's Solo Leveling for you. I'm pretty sure you probably know of this series, and I prefer to read the novels over read web comics because I'm not really the biggest webcomic guy. So yeah, Solo Leveling Volume 2. And then the next series I have is another Yinon book, and it is A Cell World. I have never heard of this series. I don't know what it was. This is another pickup at the half-price books. I saw these and I'm like, okay, that's a little bit of an interesting thing. I know nothing about these books. This is Volume 1 here, is in terrible condition. And Volume 2 isn't great, but Volume 3 is actually in decent enough condition. I know nothing about these books. I don't know anything about them at all. So, sort of just a mute point. I've got them on my shelf. I may read them at some point. I may not read them at some point. Just who really knows? But yep, A Cell World Volume 1, 2, and 3. I have nothing else to say about these, as there is really nothing I can say that would be really deep and interesting right now. But these are actually novels too, so I'll check them out at some point. Really just the same vein as a Perigo of Blue Steel here. Just don't know what's going on. And you're going to hear that twice more as I get into the other volumes of the month I got, which are sort of the weird manga publishers. We have a volume from a Div manga, which is Sword, or by the Sword, I don't know why I said of. And then we have another volume called Tokyo Tribes. These were also two other pickups from half-price books, and I just have not had time to read them yet, so thus I do not have anything interesting to say about them. I plan to read them at some point, of course. We've got a little bit of an interesting cover here, as of course, just from seeing that I sort of can understand what this series is probably about. And also Tokyo Tribes, just no clue what it is, but it just seemed interesting as a Tokyo Pop book, and I honestly don't get many Tokyo Pop things around this house. And yeah, I don't have anything to say about these two. They were just half-price book pickups, and that's really all there is to say there. So yeah, I mean, that's going to be the end of the manga haul here. I know it was very long and rambly in the whole Shonen Jump part of it, because of course I have too many things to say about those books, and then not really anything else interesting as time went on. But I say let's just go back through all of the books we got again. Of course, Tokyo Tribes, By the Sword, Fire Force 23, Shangri-La Frontier 9, 10, and 11. The Perigo of Blue Steel 1, the Estelle World of 1, 2, 3s, or 1 through 3s if I could speak, Go-Go Loser Ranger Volume 10, Oshinoko Volume 6, Solo Leveling Volume 2, The Fable Volume 1, read this, and also read Shoha Shoten, read these 3 volumes here, I command it. We got My Hero Volume 38, Ultraman Volumes 1 and 2, along with Black Clover, Undead Unluck, Martial Magic and Muscles, Chainsaw Man, Kaiju number 8, and Blue Box. All of these various volumes for a number that I am about to come up with after I count all of these. So let's get them up and give them a count real quick. See how many volumes this manga haul held. If I can move things in time. I may have actually gotten the camera angle right to where I can show everything. Can I? Oh, nearly there. There we go. Yeah, here's the manga haul for this month. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. So yeah, these are just 24 books for this month. Thank you guys so very much for watching, as you guys normally enjoy these manga hauls from what my analytics tell me, because you guys see what money I spend on books. And honestly, I think I spent some pretty good money this month. But yeah, thank you guys so very much for watching. If you did enjoy this video and want to see more manga hauls in the future, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Or if you know what any of the books I honestly didn't know were, leave a comment down in the description on, hey, that's a cool pickup, or that's worthless, it's not even a good book, you should just burn it. And I will tell you no, but it'll be what it is. But yeah, thank you guys so very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Of course, this was the manga haul for May and June of 2024. Title still pending, as in the past about 40 minutes I've been recording this video. Yes, I got interrupted that many times, the being of the video length and all of that. I really don't have too much else to say. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. This is Glowplasma231, signing out.